Welcome to Odd Man Out, where this week I, Faust, and our guest here, Joe, are going to try and convince Harrison to play Witcher 3.
I'm not a Wiccan. I don't want to do this.
Oh, God.
Get on board. Yeah.
Okay.
Come, be one of us. Be one of
us.
That's it's going to be for the next 10 minutes. One of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on a loop,
Yeah.
so it's just going to be like, yes, you must play. Please play the game
All right, so
right now.
A bit of background information. So Witcher 3 was announced in February 2013, released worldwide for Windows, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, so it is a PC release.
Okay.
On May 19th, 2015, of course, developer CD Projekt Red, known for its Witcher series, starting with 1, 2, and now 3, has won Game Award for Game of the Year and others, and is still available on the 3 major platforms: Xbox, PlayStation, PC.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everything I think I've seen on this is basically, fuck the ladies while on a horse, the game.
Ooh, I would say that you might be right had you not been talking about this game.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Okay, wait.
There is sex in this game.
Yes, there is sex.
Yeah.
Wait, let me ask this. So there's horses.
Yes.
There's horses.
Okay. And there's ladies' boobs.
Yes, there are boobs.
It's actually much more sparse than the last one.
It's quite a bit more reserved than the second game.
Okay.
Yeah. Because in the second game, I think you could sleep with like 3 or 4. I think there were 3 or 4 sex scenes, like graphic sex scenes.
But isn't there like ladies' boobs and a horse in one of the scenes?
Not that I've experienced. I mean, I'm not going to put it past CD Projekt to put something like that in the game, but I don't think you're going to see ladies' boobs on a horse or near a horse.
I don't think either of us has gotten to the lady boobs and horse moments.
Yeah, I've only seen one sex scene, kind of, and even that was kind of played off more like your PG side of things.
I would put it as a Red Shoe Diary kind of thing.
Yeah, like very
Just like-
softcore. Like they put it in there because the Witcher games have been notorious for having this kind of content, but it's very obvious they're trying to pull away from that being the focus of the game. And there is so much more to this game than just boobs and horses.
Okay, so I'm actually going to, now that I've mentioned this, I'm actually going to say something probably silly. Are you forced into this?
To the sex? No.
No.
Okay, so it is avoidable.
You
basically.
very obviously see a choice to either continue on towards the sex scene or not. And it's a very obvious choice. You are not forced into it.
Good.
Okay, you can either be romantic or not be romantic.
Okay, so I actually do appreciate that, because when it came down to a few other games where you're forced into it, such as Gods of War 3 and...
Well, you got rubies you got power for that. Of course you need to have sex.
Well, yeah.
Sex and rubies? Sign me up.
Yeah, exactly.
The problem is, if it's a choice, I'm great with it. I'll probably go with it. But when you're forced into it, I'm not given the option of it, such as Wolfenstein: The New Order. It's just forced into a cutscene, and you have no way to get to it.
Way too much sex in that one, actually, for me.
Yeah.
I didn't play the same game you guys did then. Of course, I didn't really get that far in New Order. Anyways,
we're on Witcher.
Witcher 3 is taking a tangent from the actual games themselves, both of which were... The first game was kind of an isometric sort of Diablo-y sort of thing where you wandered around.
Okay.
And then the second game was more of a third-person corridor kind of thing where you did have some exploration involved, but it wasn't really anywhere near open world at all. You were basically given little sandboxes to go run around in and play with the train sets and get on the monkey bars and everything like that. And then you would move to the next area. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is
Witcher 3 Skyrim Edition.
Yeah. I wouldn't really even put it... Because Witcher 3 actually has a story.
True.
Careful, because I didn't play Skyrim. Skyrim's not my style.
Yeah, we're not
game.
going to draw any... I'm not going to draw much comparison between Witcher 3 and Skyrim at all. Because they are two functionally different games. It's a third-person... open world. You can go from one side of the map to the other, and it takes time.
Sounds like Skyrim.
No.
Okay, so...
You haven't played Skyrim. Shut up. So...
Sounds like Fallout.
If that's what you want to compare it to, then you know what? It's going to be hard to sway it, but I'm going to do my best.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So, to start it out, you play Geralt, returning for his titular role as the Witch Hunter, which is part of a secret order of beings that are mutated humans is probably the best way to talk about it.
Mutants.
Yeah,
no,
and
not mutants.
They're mutated.
Mutated.
Yeah, they're put through.
Hey, Fox has rights.
Oh, okay, fine.
They're put from childhood through rigorous trials and training, and given the ability to cast certain spells, and given encyclopedic knowledge of creatures that exist within the world. I can't remember the name of the world. Oh, the entire overworld.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think I've really seen it named.
But only one in 7 actually ever make it out alive.
Yeah, some loading screen text.
It's through the text is what they say.
So it's kind of like the trial of life water for the Dune. What you call them? I can't remember the name of the
Dune, the series.
The Fremen.
Oh, the Fremen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
nerd humor.
Nerd.
Yeah.
No, I actually, after playing the original 2 Witchers and getting onto this one, I enjoyed the fact that you're not in that same situation you were before. You start out the game just kind of getting started back in Karen Moore. Karen Moore is like the base of the Wolf School, is what it is from The Witcher. And it's giving you backstory on what's actually happening in Geralt's mind. Because he's remembering the story of dealing with Ciri. This
is all a continuing saga.
Yeah, it's all a continuing
saga. These are characters that you meet in the first 2 games, but surprisingly, because I never really got very far in either of the first 2 games, it stands alone really well. It kind of like brings you up to speed on the people you should know about, and you don't have to read an entire glossary to figure it out.
Okay, so you get good cliff notes in the game where you don't have to go, I don't know what's going on.
Well, not to mention, you can glean a lot from the conversations you can have, because if you, just like in Mass Effect and stuff like that, if you spend time and actually go through the dialogue options that aren't necessarily just, this is the answer that's highlighted in yellow, if you do that, you'll glean the rest of what's going on.
Okay.
So, I mean, you got a lot of good character building, a lot of good story and saturation, and not a lot of exposition.
And the best part about it is, with the overarching plot that drives you through the bulk of the story, every single encounter that you have along the way is its own well-encapsulated and very engaging story.
Okay.
So this is another one that's very story-heavy. Like last week we covered... what did we cover last week for Odd Man Out? Halo, yeah.
Halo Reach.
And they said that Halo Reach was a more storied experience than the other Halo games.
Very much so.
So I think that Witcher 3 is another one that deserves that kind of focus, where it's more storied than just being in a world that you run around and swing swords and everything like that.
Okay, story's good.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention that its capabilities when it first starts you out and the character building it gives you are actually quite... they're quite advanced, because you can go for a character who's mainly melee and stick with the physical attributes of what's going on. You can stick with going towards magical only to really wear down, so you can be the caster who catches up real quick. You can be that heavy cavalry guy that walks in and just like... Mwah!
Or you can be the quick and sprightly kind of roguish character that ends up dodge rolling around everywhere and just getting in little small strikes all over. And... you know, it really does let you customize the play style to something that feels comfortable for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
As opposed to being like, here's how you do X, and you just have to go and do it their way.
The only thing I could say that might be a negative start for the series is that you really don't get a lot of what the Wild Hunt is. But that's like any other game when they give you a villain or a task that you're supposed to complete for the game overarch story, that they're not trying to give it away all at once.
And the Wild Hunt is something that showed up, I think it showed up near the end of 1, and it was a focus on, it was sort of a side focus of all of 2, was this mythical setup called the Wild Hunt, which were these sort of wraith-like characters that rode in with their own sort of evil machinations and plots.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So this is turning into Harry Potter the game?
No.
Where you have the little...
They're not Dementors.
Oh, okay.
They do more than that.
Yeah. They do a lot more damage.
Yeah, they show up, and it instantly turns to wintertime anywhere that they show up. And,
yeah, they call it the White Frost.
And pretty much everything dies.
So this is Game of Thrones.
To a point, yeah.
Take Game of Thrones and Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and then throw that the fuck out, because we're playing a different game. Okay? Quit trying to compare everything to everything else.
Well, I mean, we do have to draw some comparisons to give people an idea of what to expect.
And that's the reason I said
the thing about it is you can draw parallels to all of these things, but none of them really comes close to describing the depth or the richness of the experience.
Well, what I'm kind of hearing is people die, there's boobies, there's sex, and winter is coming. So at this point, I'm actually a little bit more interested.
Hey, if we can get you involved with just starting with that, let's lead that in a little bit.
Okay.
There are some amazing stories that go on here that are pale in comparison to anybody going, "Oh, I'm going to see some tits." You don't really go into this game with that kind of idea. There's plenty of places of other games you can do that.
Not to mention, it does give you the dichotomy between good and evil, and it also does set you up with the idea of controlling the character's aspects on its own. A lot of games, I'm not sure if this bothers you, but a lot of games, there's this weird split where you're like, okay, I'm either the dick or I'm the angel.
And there's no in between.
Right. This gives you a pretty good in between because you can be like...
Really?
Yeah.
It gives you a chance because there are points in the game where you're like, Baron, you're an asshole. It's okay you're an asshole. Doesn't change the fact you're an asshole.
Yeah.
But let's fix it.
So this is a game that actually has a decent morality system versus saying, look, there's morality choices in life. It's either straight good, straight evil. This is
there's not even a morality system. You don't get points, good points or bad points in any way, shape, or form. It's more the choices that you're given in the story are all shades of gray. There's never any definitive good choice or bad choice.
And I have the perfect example for you. There's a side mission that you can only get from the DL and from downloading it. It's called The Wolf and the Cat May Play. Mm-hmm. And it's a completely different side mission. It's 100% free. And what it is it gives you one of the best examples of what Geralt actually has to go through in world to try to give you that moral gray issue. A Witcher shows up from the cat school, and the cat school is...
Oh, this is the one who returns from previous games? Or is this
this is one of them, but okay. He's from the cat school, which is infamous for raising assassins.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely horrible assassins. And he shows up, and he sees that this entire village is slaughtered. Everybody's dead. And then you see this little kid run by, and you're like, and Geralt runs up to the kid and is like, "What's going on?" And the kid's like, "A man just like you just killed everybody." And he's like, "Wait a second, we're supposed to kill the bad guys." And she's like, No, he killed the bad guy. And then you find the dude, and he's just like, "Listen, do you want to hear my side of it, or you want to kill me?" And you're like, "Okay, tell me your side."
Yeah.
And
what's up?
Yeah, and he's like, "So get this. I get hired for pennies on the dollar to take care of one of their beasts for them. And how do they repay me?" They go, "Well, I'm sorry, we just don't have the money." After I already do the job for them. And he's like, "And you can't live on hopes and dreams. I have to be able to pay my bills to get around and pay to live." And he's like, Geralt gets the options of, okay, well, you still have to die, or, okay, I can kind of understand that. And you find out that the dude did the job that they asked him to, quick and efficiently, and then they attempted to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And put him into a corner, and then stuck him with a pitchfork, and almost killed him anyway. And your only options are kill him, because the village is trying... he killed all the villagers, except for the one little girl. Or let him live, because... he should have been able to do all of that. Now tell me where the moral black and white is in that.
Yeah.
Your entire village that you just saved from the bad guys.
They tried to kill him, and it was self-defense.
But he went overboard and killed everybody.
Yeah.
So here's the question.
What? It's a whole village that...
But do you kill him? Now a whole village is like 8 people. Now, if
7 of them decided to tie him up and stick him with a pitchfork.
Yeah, the thing about it is you're thinking about it. That's the major thing that this game does.
It's one of the only times in a video game that I actually had to put down the controller, stand back, and be like, well, fuck.
Yeah, what do I do? So what do you think after all of this?
Sounds interesting. I got a couple more quick questions.
Okay.
So what's the playtime on this?
Hours and hours and hours. This is
120 plus.
Yeah, this is your old style RPG setup where you're not going to get it done in a weekend.
Now you can uber go quick through the game and just hit every storyline thing and
get
go
through
pretty
it.
quick.
Yeah, but you are almost required. You're not really like you're given a choice, but you almost want to experience this world that's being built around you.
Okay.
And do all of the side missions. And it's not because you're trying to 100% it or get some reward. It's just because the world itself presents itself in a way that you want to experience more.
You want to see the new creatures, the alpha not alpha arch griffins, but the arch griffins, the fiends, the chorts. I mean, these things exist, and they're such cool characters and monsters that you're sitting there going, is this the shit I heard about on Hercules?
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I want to see what that looks like.
Okay.
What was your other question?
So, how big of a time sink are the mini games? Because the internet's been raving about its card game.
Gwent.
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 I actually
Gwent hard.
made it a point to avoid playing Gwent at all in my playthrough. Like when you go, like the very first tavern that you end up in, before the game takes off the reins and says go do one of the things they do is they sit you down at a table with this guy and he goes, oh hey, there's this card game, and I went nope, and got up from that table, and ever since then, every now and then the option comes up to play a particular person or not, mostly merchants and things like that, and it's sort of a side way to get discounts and win specific cards, and then there's actually a sort of side quest structure for winning Gwent tournaments.
Okay, that might be dangerous because I really like the Final Fantasy IX card game, and time sunk that.
You might actually like it. I've heard it compared to Magic the Gathering.
I played the Gwent. I'm a very avid person when it comes to a video game that you should at least experience every aspect. I tried Gwent. The problem is that they do not give you in my opinion, they do not give you a good enough tutorial on the different decks, the different leaders that are possible. You have 2 leaders to pick from at the very beginning. You have to unlock the other ones. You have different cards that are aspects to every different set, but some aspects don't work in other sets. The northern leaders get different bonuses than the southern leaders or the different rebels. And you're like, wait a second, where's the tutorial on this, please?
Yeah.
And they don't give you one.
So this is like back in the day having to learn how to play Magic and all the different things.
Yeah, like I said.
Except for imagine them going, do you know Chicago rules?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't know Chicago rules. And then you go to Chicago and you're like, okay, I'm going to learn that. And then you go to DC and DC goes, we don't play like that here.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
That's house rules. That's anywhere. So, okay.
But you have to learn them.
So as far as how involving it is, you don't have to. You could end up adding to your gameplay style, your gameplay time, just because you enjoy playing Gwent. It sounds like a kind of game that some people could enjoy playing. Me personally, I burnt out on card games with Caravan from Fallout New Vegas, so I didn't really want to give it any. I don't want to give.
I actually think you would go for Gwent because there are points and aspects from knowing you where you can just F over your entire team because you don't have to worry about it. There are cards. So in Gwent, there are cards that basically go all your ranged combat go to 1. All the medium combat goes to 1. And then there are cards that go, F that, I'm not going to go to 1. And they have these star symbols up in the corner where they just aren't affected by anything. And I would imagine you'd be that asshole who would want to collect every single star symbol and be like, guess what I just did? Yeah, that's right. I just gave it to you hard. That's what I did.
So it sounds like you're pretty interested.
I am.
Yeah.
So how much is this game now?
So right now it's $50 on Steam for Game of the Year, which means you get the game plus all of the DLC.
Okay.
And that's a pretty decent price. I've managed to find it, just the base game, for pretty much cheaper, like $30.
Yeah, I got mine for $25.
And and the base game itself is easily 120 hours plus.
Oh yeah.
And then DLC adds another 50, I believe.
That's a lot of time.
That is a lot of time.
If you're talking, $1 1 hour, this is probably worth picking up at this price. But
it is easy to go back to it if you end up having to take a break. They do have recaps. They do kind of let you know where you're at in the story, and every kind of storyline does feel pretty encapsulated. So it's not exactly like you're going to come back and go, what was I doing?
Not to mention that also the menuing system has a great idea of aspecting of your layout of your quests, where you currently are, what the beasts can do, their weaknesses. Once you learn that kind of stuff, it's all in the book.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'll probably pick it up and try it out. I don't know if I'm gonna wait until for another month for the Steam fall sales to start. But I will definitely at least put it on my wish list at this point.
Definitely. This will probably be one's going to come up during the sales.
Yes.
So we did run over a little bit, so let's go ahead and sign it off there. That was Odd Man Out for this week. We have convinced Harrison here to play Witcher 3. Of course, if you like what you see, like what we're doing, please like, comment, subscribe. Do let us know if you want us to cover any other particular game. We will try and work it in. And we will see you guys next week.
Later.
Thank you.
Later. It's like Warhammer.
Pretty much. I mean, it's like